good evening, and thank you for joining us. The things you may hear tonight might cause you intense paranoia and frights as we journey down this dark rabbit hole together. So turn down your lights and turn up your radio and enjoy. It's not normal, it's paranormal.
My baby left me on a UFO. She couldn't wait to lift off and go. I couldn't stand to see her cry. I couldn't stand to be the reason why. And all the spaceships flying saucers, still can't believe that I'm really lost.
Welcome to That's Not Normal, That's Paranormal. Here, my name is Big T, alongside of Dante Doom. Couple guys just talking about paranormal shit.
Yeah, we started this podcast because we're both very interested in it. You know, we like things that go bump in the night.
For sure. I know I've been interested since I was a little kid, way back from reading stories, hearing stories from relatives and such, playing video games with some paranormal undertones and stuff to it.
And I kind of started out opposite. I wasn't super big into paranormal, but I liked aliens. So I kind of went the alien route, and then I got me into shout out to Coast and Art Bell. I'd listen to that, and from there on, it just kept growing.
You know what? Actually, I listened to that show a lot when I was younger, when we were going fishing or hunting. Dad would turn it on because there wasn't anything else on the radio. It'd be real late at night, stuff like that. We'd listen to it. You know, everything classified underneath paranormal, you know, UFOs, cryptids, ghosts, demons, et cetera.
Yeah, and that's what, to me, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can listen to us anytime, but the best time, me personally, listens to paranormal podcasts like this is late at night. I love the feeling of just laying in bed or sitting in a recliner, lights out, and, you know, just listening to these topics.
Oh, for sure. You gotta just, like watching a horror film, man. Best time to do it's late at night with all the lights off. You know, sometimes when you're home by yourself, you go give yourself a little spook.
Sleep with the covers over top of your head and the dog's protecting you.
Yeah, man. You know, those black-eyed children will get you every time.
That's a topic for another day.
For sure. So to introduce the people here, just a couple boys from good old West by God, Virginia. And we got some good stories here in the state. A lot of paranormal activities and local legends.
And during our podcast, we're going to explore a lot of different subjects, and not just in the West Virginia area, but I'd like to do, like, you know, local areas and areas far away, you know, throw in some, maybe we'll talk about Nessie one day, or, you know, all over the place.
Oh, for sure, man. All over the place, you know. There's many famous stories, some not so famous stories that are interesting that maybe some people would like to hear about, you know, get the word out a little bit.
Yeah, and we plan on, we're not only just going to do locations, we'll do subjects like black-eyed kids or shadow people or the gray aliens, because we know they're fucking evil.
They're coming to get you, Dom.
I watch out for my windows for them fuckers. But, you know, we're going to try to cover as many topics as we can, and we're new at this, so we're going to learn as we go on. So if there's something you don't like in this first episode, then let us know and we'll try to fix it and adjust it so then it's more enjoyable for you guys.
Oh, yeah. And for any questions, concerns, or submitting your own paranormal stories that may be of some interest that you may hear, you know, possibly hear on here one day, always email us at nnpn at podcast@gmail.com. Again, new at this.
Yeah, I'm glad you had to do the email because I feel like I was going to butcher that.
Again, nnpn podcast@gmail.com.
And we'll have some, we're going to have some social media pages up eventually. Like I said, we're working on this. This is work in progress. But if you like what you hear, please help support us because it definitely makes us feel like, we're doing it for us and for you guys.
Oh, yeah. This is for the fun and love of everything spooky and the unexplained for sure. And definitely want to get everybody on board and give them something to look forward to. And, it's always fun to have a break in the day for something.
Get you through that stressful Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless Monday or Tuesday is your Friday.
Oh, yeah. Some people are lucky like that. My weekends, Sundays and Mondays, so I don't have to worry about having a bad case of the Mondays.
I always got a bad case of Mondays.
So Dante, let's get started here with our first location, first story, first, event, I guess you could say. We're going to be talking about a small little place called Cairo, West Virginia. Known as the Ghost and Lady White of the Silver Run Tunnel, also known as Tunnel Number 19, the North Bend Rail Trail, which is there now. And I don't know if most people, if you're from this area, if not, most of the train systems and railings for them running from Civil War times and stuff now have all been pretty well changed to walking trails.
Yeah, they were like, hey, listen, we got all these haunted tunnels here that's been here since the Civil War. Let's just make it so everyone can walk their dogs through them at any time.
For sure. So this goes back to even before the Civil War, stories of a lady in white. And in many legends, a lady in white could be sometimes known as a little bit more of a trickster spirit sometimes, but also can be women who had tragically passed away due to possible suicide after tragic events, such as a loss of a child, marriage problems, death of another spouse, such things like that as well. Real popular, people seeing a lady wearing a white dress.
That's what, when I was looking into seeing where they got the legend from, I saw there was like 2 or 3 different theories. And the one was just, she was waiting on her groom and he never showed up and she fell or jumped onto the train track. The other one was that she was on a train and fell off. And then this one's my favorite. No one knows. It's just they found bones under a house near the tunnel. So that one was my favorite.
For sure, yeah. Those are definitely some legends and stuff with it. There's some very interesting things when it comes to it. There's been people even nowadays who have spotted the woman when they're walking through the trail later in the evening time, but sightings of the lady in white have gone past, like I said before, since before the Civil War. Trains would be coming through and see a lady in a tunnel. A lot of times the trains would originally, would stop, and locomotives and stuff like that, stopping is not an easy task. Then they'd turn around and try to find a body or see if there's anybody around, make sure there's nobody's hurt or killed, and nobody would be there. So there's definitely some stories to say you could tell what a new train conductor would be, because they would slow down or come to a stop when other ones would just speed up, because they understood what was going on, that there was a spirit instead of there actually being a person that they could have ran over.
And they would say they would hop out and they'd look for the body, looking for the worst possible scenario, and just nothing was there. And it just kept happening. Stories over and over about where they would supposedly run over this woman in white and nothing's there. And I know we were talking about it before this. The best story to me is the fact that this guy, one of the engineers, decided, I'm not stopping. Fuck this bitch. I refuse to stop for her. And so he just kept hammering that train through that tunnel. Well, as he's going, back in those days, people used to wave, and they'd be like, "Hey, what's up, train?" Well, train keeps going. Everyone's waving. When he gets stopped, supposedly, I think it was like 3 miles, 2.3 miles. This train went. When he stopped, people was asking him, "Where's that lady in white that was riding on the back of your train?" She was like, it was like she was just a big fuck you. Like, hey, you're going to just run over me in this tunnel? I'm going to ride your train.
Yeah, there's even some of the information and stuff that I was looking up about some of the stories and stuff. Some of the first times it happened, man, people from the towns and stuff would get almost in a big mob, trying to flag the train down, thinking that like a kid or young woman had gotten on top of the train to stop it. That when the train and stuff would stop, there wouldn't be anybody there. It was just the ghost decided to hop up and ride on top of the train.
And I think that's crazy to me, like that this ghost has that much of a sense of humor. Like she's just like, not only am I going to make it look like that you ran me over, I'm going to hop on your train if you just keep trucking through.
Yeah, for sure. Could you imagine though being there late at night, Donnie? And for my research, the freaking tunnel, man, is like close to 1,400 feet long. Like it's like 1,375 feet long or something like that. You imagine walking and like being like in the middle of that tunnel and seeing something weird, man? You wouldn't have anywhere to go.
Well, they say if you go through there now, you even during the day, you have to bring a flashlight or you can't see nothing. Like it's just, it's completely dark.
Oh, for sure. That long of a underground passageway, that long, yeah, that's daylight isn't going to help you any.
It is a place. Maybe later on when we get more into doing these, I definitely would like to visit some of these places that we're able to visit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And this is a public location too, with the rail trail system goes through it. That whole trail that goes through that area actually is 72 miles long, and there's 10 separate tunnels along it.
That's just crazy. Like
it's crazy though, because of the state of West Virginia, with all the rail systems we used to have, there is a couple of haunted tunnels and stuff. Some more we'll have to get into at a later date and maybe actually go in person and check out. Then we can talk about our experiences with it.
Yeah, there's quite a few tunnels that's supposedly haunted in this area, and it'd be cool to explore them and take some photos and see if we can find anything. Now I've never went ghost hunting much, so I'm willing to talk shit to them.
Yeah, you'd be the one to take something home with you.
Yeah, probably.
I can't say that I've really ever done too much active ghost hunting. I've messed around with like a few things when some weird events and stuff had gone on that I've dealt with. Have you ever had your own personal ghost experience? Or you still haven't popped your cherry in that ordeal yet?
The closest I had was sleep paralysis. I had like a shadow figure one time, like come in on me when I was paralyzed. Like, you know what I mean? Like I had that whole traumatic event where I woke up in the middle of the night and I was frozen. I couldn't move. And there was like a shadow figure in my room, and eventually kind of hovered over top of me. And luckily I listened to Art Bell, and shout out to Darkness Radio too, if you've ever listened to it. They're from Minnesota. But I've heard different ways to get out of sleep paralysis. So I used those methods and I woke up, and luckily, that nothing really happened to me. But how about yourself?
Oh, I've had a couple of experiences, but we'll just talk about my first experience. First experience actually was not a scary one at all, which seems baffling to most people. I was probably about 10 years old, coming back from the funeral of my grandmother. And me and my mom both came home in the evening time as the sun was going down. And as soon as we walked in the house, boom, full-fledged apparition standing in between my kitchen and my living room of my grandmother in the house that I grew up in.
Oh, shit.
And it was actually a pretty calming experience just because I was a small child, never really dealt with death before.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a hard, different situation. And just that seeing that there's something after death, and probably helped spark some interest as well, because not only did I see it, my mother seen it. So it wasn't just like I was some crazy kid,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that's like, you want to believe in ghosts, so there is an afterlife, but there's also the fact that, like, with so many ghost shows, that they overreact to that stuff, and I don't know, like,
oh yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, man. Is it possible that they see some stuff? Yeah, it could be possible, but you got a whole other side that crosses onto the part of like the entertainment business,
Yeah.
So it's just one of those kind of like catch 99s, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
but
it's like, exactly, like, it's just I think until you actually have your own experience, you're always kind of skeptical.
Oh, for sure. I'm still skeptical of some certain things that pop up, you know what I mean? And I always found, like, in any experiences that I've had in my life, where I will try to debunk it and see if there's like something that could have happened that caused what happened. You know what I mean? I feel like in any fashion, if you're trying to prove something exists, you also have to check out the possibilities of disproving it as well. But sometimes things just don't add up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So any realistic possibility of it not being something that you can't explain.
Yeah, and I mean, that's where I would and that's like this woman in white. They just, if it was just like one trained man, you'd be like, there might not be nothing to it. He might just seen things. But with that, so many of them going through there, then you're like, well, maybe there is a fucking woman in white in this tunnel.
Oh, for sure. And, it talks about whole towns kind of like seeing the woman like waving from the top of the train, I mean, it's definitely, some stories from long ago. But there is, like, from what I was reading, some people still say that they do see apparitions and stuff in that area. So definitely, definitely be something to it. Be something worth checking out, or if anybody else is ever in that area or has any experiences with tunnel number 19, North Bend Rail in Cairo, West Virginia. You definitely would love to hear from you.
Yeah. If you've had any experience in it whatsoever, let us know. We'd love to share your story. And before we end our episode, I do want to talk about, so when we was doing research on the tunnel, I watched a YouTube video of these two people. Now, I'm not going to name their names or nothing because I don't want any negative juju on me. But in the research that I did, I'm not about that negative juju. And but I don't know if it's the same for you, but when I did research on it, the ghost seemed more mischiefy. Like, she didn't seem like she would do any harm to anybody, or, I mean, yeah, she rode a train to say fuck you to an engineer, but it wasn't like she jumped on the train and like scared the shit out of them or anything, And
yeah, for most of the stories I read, yeah, it was very, very mischief kind of things, or just appearing, but definitely some mischief tendencies to a lot of the stories and stuff that I looked up as well when researching.
Yeah. So this couple on YouTube, now, they went into this tunnel and they were like, hey, we're going to try to find a ghost. We're going to take photos. And, I don't think they did the voice recorder or anything. But they go in this tunnel, okay? And it's at like, you got to go in at midnight or 3 in the morning. Preferably me, if you're going to a haunted house, you got to cause mischief at 3 a.m. That's the devil's hour. All right. Like that's probably
hour.
That's when that's when the bad shit starts to happen. And so they go in there and I mean, they're just walking in the tunnel. And of course you're going to have bad vibes. You're walking through a dark tunnel anyways, it's darker at night. So they're walking through the tunnel and supposedly the woman in white comes to them and it's nothing but bad vibes for this couple. And that the woman in white, like, I don't know, they made it seem like she was going to like kill them and curse them forever. So once she appeared to both of them, they ran out and they were like, she didn't want us in this tunnel. But all the research that I've done, it's like the complete opposite. Like she's like, hey, you can come in the tunnel, but I'm going to act like you ran me over or ride your train. Like,
honestly, man, it might even just tried to communicate or something with them. You know what I mean?
And yeah, it could have been.
They automatically, people get afraid of things they don't understand. And I mean, I can understand seeing like a full apparition or, something or seeing something weird that you can't explain or something could be very startling and stuff like that. But it doesn't always mean that it's something bad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be something to try to communicate. I mean, with some of the stories being mischievous, I mean, I guess there could be some slight mischief to it, but probably wouldn't be anything like super drastic. Just you see something you don't understand, and a lot of people just tend to freak out. And again, you ought to take to the side that there could be some kind of entertainment side point to it, to make an interesting video or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like, the video kind of reminded me of like an Unsolved Mysteries vibe. Like you could tell it was probably
they were never heard from again.
Yeah. These are just reenactments.
These are paid actors. Please do not try this at home.
Do not go into this tunnel. But yeah, that's our first episode for you. And hopefully everything went good and you like what you hear.
Yeah, again, as we said towards the beginning of this episode, if you have any questions, concerns, feedback, or stories related to anything paranormal that you would just like to get out there, definitely email us at nnpnpodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's nnpnpodcast@gmail.com. We also would like to give a shout out to the music in the intro. If you would like to go ahead with that, Dante, do.
Yeah, I'll put up a link in the bio box or info box, or I don't even know what it's called these days, but I'll throw a link up. The song is Crying Saucers by Captain Catfeesh. Great band from West Virginia. Definitely check them out. They got a couple albums you can buy or listen to on Spotify or wherever you get your music. And we are grateful that they allowed us to use that song for our intro. And if anybody else has songs that want to be put on the show, we can throw them in at the end of the episode for people to hear. And we appreciate all the support.
Yeah, and just remember, man, if you see something, it's possible that's not normal. That's paranormal.